Good morning, friends. Myself, Dr. Ramesh Bahadure from Sri Vasantrao Naik Mahavidyalaya Dharne, District Amravati, Department of Zoology. Today we discuss about the placentation in mammals, types and function of the placenta. Some introductory ideas about the placenta. The placenta is defined as the temporary organ which is formed jointly by the extraembryonic membrane and these extraembryonic membranes of the fetus and the maternal tissues, and by which the developing embryo or fetus of viviparous mammals obtain its nourishment from the maternal origin. So, we see the structure of placenta. The placenta is attached to the uterine wall and establish connection between the mother and the fetus. The placenta is limited internally by the amniotic membrane and chorionic plate. The intervillous space containing the stem cell villi, their branches, the space being the maternal blood. There are the following parts of placental structure one by one: the amniotic membrane, chorionic plates, basal plates, intervillous space and the stem cells. So, in that the placenta attaches to the umbilical arteries and the outlines of how the placental septum, the meibomium and the endothelial villus and the maternal circulation. The around the all structural outlines to show the placental structures. We will see the placenta from point of view of origin consists of mainly the two parts. First is the fetal placenta and the second one is the maternal placenta. So, in the fetal placenta, this is formed by the extraembryonic membrane. Chorionic is the principal component of the fetal placenta, as it establishes a vascular link between the embryo and the maternal tissues. The second one is the maternal placenta. It is furnished by a single component and attached to the uterine or endometrium wall. Then types of the placenta according to the nature of fetal membrane taking part in the formation of placenta. So, number 1, the choriovitelline or yolk sac placenta. These differentiate into the developing embryo, the brownish parts, indicating the developing embryo and attaches to the allantois. This amniotic cavity fulfilled with the amniotic fluid and the extraembryonic coelomic cavity, and it shows under the chorionic vitelline or yolk sac placenta. And second one, the chorioallantoic placenta. The chorioallantoic placenta, here the developing embryo, they attach with the allantois of the mesodermal range and the villi projection like villi, and this arranges of the chorionic allantois placenta. The third one is the chorionic placenta. In the chorionic placenta, mainly from the human fetus within the uterus. So, in the chorionic placenta, the placental villi where the developing embryo and attaches at the whole endometrium wall, and this embryo attaches with the umbilical cord with its vesicles. So, the types of placenta according to their degree of connection and minute histological relation between the maternal tissue and the fetal tissue. So, number 1, the epitheliochorial placenta. When the chorionic epithelium makes a contact with the uterine epithelium, the placenta is designed as an epitheliochorial placenta. So, in that diagrammatic outlines, the fetal endothelial cells, how it develop, then the connected with the fetal connective tissues, and these chorionic epithelial cells and just below the endometrial epithelial cells. The maternal connective tissues and the maternal endothelial cells is under the endothelial wall. The second one, the syndesmochorial placenta. So in this type of placenta, the fetal and maternal compounds are fused so intimately as to result in destruction of uterine epithelium. That is the best example in camel, cow, sheep, giraffe, etc. That is one of the mammalian placentation. The third one, endothelial placenta. If the destruction involves the uterine epithelial and the underlying connective tissue which is reduced, the chorionic epithelium comes into direct contact with the endothelial walls of the maternal vessels. So that is the best example, one of the mammals, dog and cat. Hemochorial placenta. Reduction of the barriers to 3 is found in the primates, for example lemur, apes, women, many insectivores, bats and rodents also. This type of placenta is called hemochorial placenta, in which the endothelium of the maternal blood vessel also disappears and chorionic villi are bathed directly in the maternal blood. So this is an example how the destruction takes place, and hemochorial best example in the humans and rodents. The next one is the hemoendothelial placenta. In this type of the placenta, all 3 maternal tissues and 2 fetal tissues, that is chorionic epithelial and the chorionic connective tissues, are completely eroded so that the fetal blood vessels deep into the blood lances of the uterus, for example in rat, pig and rabbit. Then types of placenta according to the fate of endometrium and parturition. Number 1, the non-deciduous placenta. In case of the epitheliochorial placenta, at parturition the chorionic villi are simply drawn out from the crypts in the wall of the uterus. So we will see in the diagram. In the second, the deciduous placenta. In the other mammals, the union of the maternal and fetal tissues is so intimate that the parturition, not only the fetal components of the placenta is shed, but a variable amount of the maternal tissues is torn away, as well as bleeding inevitably occurs. These types of placenta are known as deciduous types of the placenta. Then third one is the contradeciduous placenta. In Paramles and Talpa that develop a non-deciduous placenta, even the fetal part of the placenta is not passed out at parturition. Instead, it is retained in the uterus where it is broken down and absorbed. This type of placenta is called as the contradeciduous placenta. Then type of placenta according to the arrangement of the villi on the blastocyst. Number 1, diffuse type of the placenta. Villi are uniformly distributed all over the surface of the chorion except the extreme ends. It is found in the ungulates, that is pig and mare. So these are the all types of the placenta with their outlines. The diffuse type of the placenta, the discoidal type of the placenta, the cotyledonary type of the placenta and the zonary type of the placenta. In case of the cotyledonary placenta, in most of the cattle, sheep and goat, the villi are found in the groups or patches called as cotyledon, while the rest of the chorion surface is smooth. This type of placenta is known as cotyledonary type of the placenta. The intermediate type of the placenta, in this type, the isolated villi are scattered between the cotyledon. Thus, the blastocyst is provided both with the villi and cotyledon, for example in camel and giraffe. Then fourth number, zonary placenta in carnivores, for example dog, cat, lion, etc. with villi develop in the form of belt around the middle of the blastocyst, which is generally elliptical in shape. The last one is the discoidal type of the placenta. The villi are restricted to small disc-shaped area of the blastocyst. The functional placenta therefore has the shape of the disc and is known as the discoidal type of the placenta. Mostly the example in the insectivores, bat and bear. So already we seen that the diagrammatical presentation as well as the text related information. The metadiscoidal placenta is found in the human beings and anthropoid apes. The early blastocyst is at first all covered with villi, but later they disappear from its free surface. The main aspect is the function of the placenta, how they function when the attachment of the fetus and the mother through the umbilical cord. So, one by one, the formation of the tubular embryo by creation of the body folds. Next is the juxtaposition of the ectoderm and endoderm at the oral plate and cloacal membrane. Next is the describe the formation and fusion of the amnion to create a protective bubble around the embryo. Then vestigial nature of the yolk sac in mammals with regard to nutrition, but its importance in terms of the hematopoiesis and its transient significance in contributing to the choriovitelline placenta. The development of the allantois as a bud of the gut tube and its importance in the chorioallantic placenta. Then understand the different histological forms that the fetal maternal placenta interface can take. Understand the different anatomical forms that the fetal maternal placenta interface can take. The emphasis on glucose and amino acid as the energy and growth resources in the fetus, and explain how the placenta has an endocrine function in ensuring these resources are directed to the fetus. The special fetal adaptation that ensure adequate perfusion of fetal tissues with oxygen. So mainly the fetus and the developing embryo, when they attach, to provide the main is the provide the whatever nutrition for the developing embryo. Thanks for watching video. Thanks a lot.